All right, what's going on, Giants fans? Welcome to the Week 7 New York Giants film review. Victory film review. Only second one of the year, so we're going to enjoy it. Big picture thoughts on offense, defense. Offense, it was the most conservative game plan I've ever seen by an offense. And I'm okay with it because the offensive line was bad. I mean, they did on 34 pass attempts, one was a penalty. They had 15 rollouts, sprint outs where, Jones was purposely getting out of the pocket. They ran a handful of screens. The regular dropbacks were mostly like 3-step, slant flats. Just quick plays. And I do my deep concept stats. They only had 4 deep concepts, and they got a QB hit and a sack on 2 of those. So I understand the Giants being conservative in this game, which is something usually I'm very against. But against a good Panthers defense that had pass rushers, I was okay with it. And Daniel Jones did a good job executing it, and some of the wide receivers like Pettis and Slayton did a good job stepping up in that. Defensively, Patrick Graham continues to run the light boxes. We've been talking about that a lot on these film reviews, but you're going to see there's 4 run plays we're going to go through for the Panthers, 3 to start, and we're going to talk about how Pat Graham kind of compensated for being able to run 2 high safeties like he wants to do, but also stopping the run. And they did a really good job versus the run in this game. And Darnold, he has the worst footwork I've ever seen for a guy who's been in the league this long. I don't understand how his footwork is still this bad in the NFL. But a good team win for the New York Giants when they were depleted and should have lost this game, when you look at it on paper going into it. So let's get into it. First, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Bam. All right, we're going to go through some of the run game. So this play is actually a prep where they do what they did last year. And then where I said is they have a heavy box. They have a +1 box. So, every gap is accounted for. So you got 1 gap right here, 1 gap. These 2 are filling these gaps. Leonard here, Tay here. Azeez is going to pop down in here, and then McKinney out here. This is good gap football. Okay? And you're going to see on this rep, no one does a particularly great job, except for Azeez, who had a really good game. Azeez does a good job, but you're just playing solid gap football, going with the flow of the play, and Dexter Lawrence is able to keep him to a 3-yard run or a 2-yard run. Just playing good gap football. I want them to get back to doing more of that, but Patrick Graham, he's shown that he's going to stay in this 2 high safety. So we'll go through some of the ways. Now, this next rep is how they got killed versus the Saints and the Cowboys. So this is just lining up and not having that +1 box. So let's go through it. We won't count the wide receiver. Gap, uncovered gap right here. So you have an unfilled gap. Gap, 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 gap. So you have 1 uncovered gap. So Giants, they try and change it up. Don't give them such a easy look at which gap is going to be uncovered. So you see Austin Johnson. Austin Johnson pops down into that gap. Tay Crowder, is planning. Tay Crowder's playing the backside. And Chuba Hubbard's able to, these guys get blocked out. Dexter Lawrence is playing his gap. So Chuba's just make the read off of the uncovered gap. Austin Johnson, was almost able to come over and make a play. But again, unless you want him taking this block head up and being hesitant and keeping it from a 5-yard run, this is what happens when you play like that. Now, Patrick Graham compensated. Now, here is one way he did it. We went through one of the ways he did it last week, and we're going to do another rep like that later. But here's one way he did it. So you got 6 guys versus 6, which means you have a gap unaccounted for. Gap, 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 and then you would assume that okay, he's 2-manning. He's playing the edge, but he's playing the inside as well. Well, what the Giants do, Lorenzo Carter is going to shoot down 2 gaps. So instead of playing this outside gap, he plays down here, which, again, they're not expecting that. So he's able to make a play regardless. Regardless, he's able to make a play. But let's just say he gets blocked up on this. Well, they send a blitzing corner and Adoree Jackson to fill that outside gap. And then you got Ragland taking on this gap. Everyone doing, and again, they win some. Look, Austin Johnson wins his block. Leonard Williams does a great job on the center. Crowder plays it up and aggressive, beats his guy to the ball. I mean, so a lot of individual guys winning on this rep too. But you get a nice tackle for a loss. And you'll see it from the other angle. You send a Dory, and they did this a few times with the Dory. Send a Dory on that blitz. You fill it. You give them a favorable run front early in the game. They said they wanted to run the ball. Give them a favorable run front, and then turn into an unfavorable run front. Here's a third down, so now we're getting into some of the pass stuff. Just a really nice rep from Azeez Ojulari. We're not going to really go through his sacks because they were so garbage time, and versus PJ Walker. But this is maybe his best rep of the game. He doesn't get a sack on it, but I think this is his best rep of the game. Using that speed as a wide 9 technique, opening this tackle's hips, using that hand to press him off. You got yourself a QB hit. This is on third down, so you're playing some soft zone, keeping everything underneath you, forcing the ball out. Ends up being a drop. That was going to be tackled before the sticks, regardless. Regardless, they're punting, and that's where Robbie Anderson breaks 2 tackles. So, I think this is Azeez Ojulari's best pass rush rep of the game. And he had 2.5 sacks, which is essentially 3 sacks. But I think that was his best pass rush rep of the game. On the offense, now, the offense, there's not a ton. I'm telling you, they ran some of the same stuff over and over again. And here's an example. Running stick. You put Ingram on this sit route right here. You got man coverage. Slanting here, running an out, a clear out go. Man coverage. Pettis is able to win it. I mean, they ran so many slants. So, we're not going to go through every one, but this was the best one, Slants are a route that adverse man coverage breeds yak. Again. 1, 2, 3, go. That takes pressure off the offensive line. They don't have to totally, they can wash these guys around the edge because they know the ball's going to come out quick. Easy read. Easy pitch and catch. And you got number 13 running, getting some yak on a slant. A familiar look for Giants fans. Good game for Dante Pettis. And you will obviously see a couple more of his reps. This was one of the, one of 2 deep throws in this game. Giants do everything well on this. It's just a bad throw by DJ. And obviously DJ had a really good game. But I want to look at the block. This is what I thought was the best block pass play of the game. So what you got here, little trail concept. You put John Ross on a slant. Dante Pettis an angle. He's clearing out. You just want to keep this safety honest and get yourself a one-on-one with Darius Slayton. Darius Slayton's good versus press man. Outside release. Jones has himself a nice clean pocket. It's third down. Take a shot. I like it. I like this play call. We've kind of gotten spoiled with Daniel Jones completing half of his deep passes, and just that's not realistic to do week in, week out. But still, I want him to convert that. So, but here is where the real finding out what they're doing shows up. So they put teams on these third and longs. They do this double A gap look where they put they place everybody up and they don't let you know what you're going to do. Are you going to blitz and play man? It's hard to call play against that because if they're going to all out blitz, well, you got to do some quick concept slants. But if they pop out, well, you don't really you don't have it's hard to diagnose that pre-snap and take what they give you because you got to get 7-8 yards. You got to get a nice chunk play, and you don't know exactly what's going to be shown to you. And they don't know which you have 7 guys. They don't know which guys are coming. So a lot of times it creates one-on-ones even when they're not blitzing. So what they do, they put Pettis in motion. You get no reaction out of these guys, which tells you, okay, they're not sending 6. We know that. If one of these guys moves with Pettis, they're going to throw to the slant on John Ross, but no one does. They pop out the ends, and Brian Burns and Hassan Reddick blitz these, the linebacker and then Jeremy Chin. Matt Parrott sets, sees it. I went over this on the Odin report. He pops out. Skura, blocked up. Solder blocks up. You got a 2-on-1 right here. Jones is able to set his feet. And he's just not able to deliver the throw. So, love the play, but you gotta pick it up. All right, next rep. What do we got? 3rd and long. Sack. And again, they're trying to get some stuff down the field. You've got a curl right here with a dig. On the backside, you've got him curling in a fade. You're trying to get this to John Ross right here. It's 3rd down. You're trying to get a chunk play. If this gets protected up, you've got it right here. You probably get this. This safety, you're able to play this because he's chasing right here. You're able to get it, timed up and figure this out. But to protect, check out the O-line report, but this is just horrible stunt pickup by Will Hernandez. You got to know it's 3rd down and long. They're probably going to throw some stunts at you. And if this guy is rushing into the inside shoulder tackle, you got to be ready for this. And you have to see this. You have to see this. It ruins drives. It takes, this could have been a nice chunk play. It could have been points on the board, but instead you're punting. All right, last run defensive rep I want to go through. This is what they did last week versus the Rams, and I thought they did a good job of playing with 2 high safeties. So you got gap, you got 6 versus 7. So and then you have Logan Ryan playing. They're not doing 2 high safeties, but it's a light box. Watch Azeez. He shoots inside. Linebackers immediately are playing the outside gap, playing right here. Now Azeez is able to make this play. Good job. Good agility. Makes the play. So good rep by Azeez. But let's just say that gets blocked up. Let's say this guard picks it up. Well, now you got Ragland filling out here. You got Logan Ryan outside. You got James Bradberry filling up here. At very best, they get maybe 1 yard out of this. So taking, where instead of letting them, try and seal this edge and get outside, you slant. And they did this a few times in this game. I did a breakdown on Twitter on it if you want to check it out. But, good stuff from Patrick Graham on that. This is the James Bradberry interception. You got cover 4, which means you got 1, 2, 3, 4 guys playing deep, 3 guys underneath, 4-man rush. They just bait Darnold into this. This is a bad decision by Darnold. But they're running a post wheel, which means he's going to run here, and then he runs flat and then up. So he wants to get this wheel route, and you have the crosser too. So he's thinking everything's going to be occupied, and you're just going to get a 1-on-1 right here. It ends up being a bad throw, anyways. But it's a worse decision than it is a bad throw. Because Bradberry, he knows he has his safety help up here on the post. So he's playing it. Passes it off. The ball's coming out now, but he's playing to pass it off. Sits on it. And Bradberry probably gets us an interception or at least a pass deflection, even if this is a good throw. Ragland does a great job staying with this too. Where a lot of guys play this flash and they leave it wide open. But just good coverage, good play. And this is why teams are going to this 2 high safety stuff is because they know these QBs get impatient. They know they do, and they take advantage of those plays. Now, Giants QBs have been very patient versus the Giants this year. Sam Darnold was the first one that really wasn't. But this is why a lot of teams are, sacrificing in the run to get these type of plays. So good stuff there by James Bradberry, who in this 2 high safety look stuff, he's giving up more catches, but he's also taking more chances. He's had a few dropped interceptions as well this year, and he has three on the season. Pep blitz, man. Pep's out for the year. And I hate the disrespect that Jabril Peppers gets. He was 4th of all safeties last year in tackles for a loss. had the most passes defended out of all strong safeties last year, had a good advanced coverage stats last season. They misused him this year. They wanted to play Xavier McKinney, and they misused him this year. This year, and misusing him, he missed a game. Played less than half of 2 games because of injury. He had a sack, 2 tackles for a loss, 4 QB hits. That's more than Lorenzo Carter and O'Shane Ximines, who have been starting edges, combined. More than those guys combined. Double what they did combined. He was misused. They had him playing man coverage on the second best wide receiver in the NFL this year in Cooper Kupp. There's obviously guys better, but he's putting this together the second best production to Jamar Chase. Held Kyle Pitts to 2 catches. Got beat in man coverage a couple times versus Noah Fant. I hope this guy can stay in with the Giants. I don't think it's going to happen, but I'm going to miss him. I'm going to be rooting for him. Hope he gets healthy. Just gets cut block, flipped over, up, jump, scares Darnold, and then chases it down. That's Jabril Peppers, a playmaker. He's a playmaker. He's not a perfect player, but he is a playmaker. He's the captain of this team for a reason. He was a big-time playmaker in 2020. The best player on the defense in 2019, by the way. Now, it was a bad defense, so not much to write home about. But he was the best player on that defense in 2019. So, hope Pep gets better and comes back, better than ever. Next rep. 3rd and long. 3rd and 12. You're trying to get a chunk play. Giants run a dagger concept, which means one receiver is clearing out, another one's running a dig. Ingram in the flat. So attacking 3 levels. Now, I don't know if this opens up because, he got him playing here. But you're just not able to block up front. And it's not like it's this long, drawn-out play. It's a longer concept, but gets beat immediately. We'll go through it from the other angle. Now, I will say, the Giants have been running a lot of dagger on 3rd and longs. Teams are figuring it out. Like, he sits on it. This guy's going to come on. And here's something that freaking bothered me so much about Garrett. Good game by Garrett. This route is useless. Like, this route has nothing to do with the play. You're never going to come back to this route in this play. Most coaches, what they do is they put this guy on a drag or a crosser. Like, take out these guys underneath. Force this guy to cover him underneath. And what happens is if you put Slayton on a crosser right here, and this gets blocked up, let's say these guys pick it up. Like you got this clear out, that he stays on the drag. Well, now you have like all of this area that you're wasting. And I know you'll look at it and say Slayton's wide open here. Jones is taught, QBs are taught to never even look at that on the backside on dagger. And we'll see it from the O-line angle. Solder just gets killed inside. Watch the O-line report for more detail on it. But and Hernandez loses. Jones dodges the first one. This offensive line is bad. I've never seen a coaching staff not trust an offensive line as much as they don't trust this offensive line, and rightfully so. All right, this is the touchdown drive. This was, with the catch by Daniel Jones, a lot of really good plays in. So the Giants ran a lot of play-action boot. They do it on this one. Put John Ross in motion. Makes a beautiful throw to Slayton on the sideline. So you got Pettis clearing out, Slayton coming across. You want to get this ball to Darius Slayton on this. Kyle Rudolph's on a block and release, but he doesn't do a good job on the block part. And you'll see DJ's able to evade Brian Burns. And now he's reading Jeremy Chin. What's Jeremy Chin going to do? When am I going to throw this ball? Jeremy Chin floats. Jeremy Chin can't find where the receiver is. And as soon as he floats, DJ pulls the trigger. Just a beautiful throw on the sideline. This is, I think, was Daniel, but, I was throwing play. I think this was Daniel Jones' best throw of the game. Best play of the game. Making Brian Burns miss is, that's good on its own. And it wasn't like he was trying to throw the ball away at this point right here. Like he just has confidence. Like, I'll just make Brian Burns miss. I'm fine with that. Throw on the sideline. They did 15 of these, these either sprint outs or boot outs. DJ completed 11 of 15 of them. I think this was the best one. And it was the first play of a touchdown drive for the Giants. Same drive. You got 3rd and long. 3rd and 12. They run dagger again. Giants run dagger again. You got dagger. You got a clear out from the slot. You've got a dig route from John Ross. This wide receiver wasting motion. It's that same play we just went over before, right? The same exact play we went over before. Pressure immediately. DJ feels it. He's gotten so much better at manipulating the pocket. Running back leaks out. Make a play. I'm telling you, look at some of the advanced stuff on O-line grades versus, sacks. Daniel Jones, which I thought his biggest issue his rookie year and second year was his pocket manipulation, more than turnovers. And they kind of go hand in hand a little bit. He has gotten so much better at manipulating the pocket. And part of that was Andrew Thomas. But you look at a game like this, he did a good job in this game. I mean, Solder gets beat off the line and easily, even with trying to get a chip help. Bam, first down. You keep a drive going. End up winning the game because of this drive. And the next play, this freaking reverse. I mean, this picture's going to go down in history. So, a couple of things. I'm not going to get too X's and O's on this. But watch Dante Pettis fade on this throw. Like a fadeaway. Like, toss it and fade. I don't know. That just kind of looks cool. And DJ stutters. Dante Pettis, said in his pressers, I don't know why he slowed down on this. But if he didn't slow down on this, he probably gets lit up. Like, if he goes full speed at this, he takes a flatter angle. I think he gets lit up on this. Now, he still gets hit. But the one-handed catch. Let's see it from the other angle. And then I'm going to point out the thing that I think is the craziest thing about this play. Air DJ. Buy your Air DJ shirts. I mean, that's iconic. I don't know what happens with Daniel Jones as a New York Giant, but he has moments that you're always going to remember. That's one of them. The Tampa Bay game, stumbling versus the Eagles. There's going to be moments that you remember about DJ as a New York Giants, first-round quarterback, regardless of what happens with him. That is one of them. I mean, that's insane. Gets hit. And here's the craziest thing about the entire play. He acts like nothing happens. No reaction. This guy is psychotic. There's something wrong with him, man. He's just cold-blooded. Just catching a catch. Having a catch as a QB, if you catch it wide open, that's a cool feeling. Like that gets celebrated. And you see everyone else's reaction on the sideline, on the Giant. everyone else is going crazy. But if this guy isn't here, you make an easy catch, 2 hands. Most QBs are getting up and they're, woo, wee, woo, woo, woo. Daniel Jones catches it with 1 hand, gets hit while he's doing it, and doesn't even give a reaction. Just where's the ref? Here's the ball. Let's get back to the huddle. Guy is nuts. I love Daniel Jones. Like I said, I don't know what happens with him long term, but I love Daniel Jones. Here's something the Giants showed in training camp. I posted a clip of it in training camp. Little speed under center speed option. Maybe the Ravens do some stuff like that, but I haven't seen that in the NFL. I don't remember it happening. And you're just playing off of one player. You got Reddick. Reddick is the read man. All right, Reddick, you're not committing to the QB. Toss it. Good cut by Booker, 12-yard gain. I doubt they run that play again. They might run that play 1 or 2 more times this year. But I did see it in training camp, and it showed up. This is a touchdown pass. Slant out with Slayton and Pettis. He's clearing out. Slayton on the slant. This might be stick where it's man, you turn it into an out route. But I think it was a planned slant out. Good timing, good catch, and surf into the end zone. And this was a hell of a drive by Daniel Jones. I know people like to overreact and say it was his best game of his career. I don't agree with that type of stuff. You consider the circumstances, it's a really good game, but that was a hell of a drive. That was one of the better drives in Daniel Jones' career. All right, a couple more plays. This is the play that could have been there. This could have been a 50-yard touchdown. It's like a form of Mills where he's running this deep in. You got the two high safeties, occupies him. I mean, this could have been a big play. But again, you know, I cannot stand the idea of coaching scared, but I don't blame this team. They had a four-man rush. A four-man rush, you had 7 blockers. Tight ends do their job. Billy Price just gets beat off the ball. The Giants missed Nick Gates, by the way. Nick Gates was really underappreciated. He wasn't just nasty and had some like awesome run plays. Like, he was a really good pass blocker. These plays didn't happen with Nick. Could have been a touchdown. Could have been a nice touchdown. And instead you end up kicking 3. And this is the touchdown the end of the game. You got Skur and Hernandez pulling. Everyone blocking down. Caden Smith does a good job sealing off. Skur will block him out. Hernandez block him out. Booker press it. Cut it. Cut up. Bam. And you celebrate a Giants win in the shade at MetLife Stadium. First time they've done it in front of fans since Eli Manning's last start in the NFL. I was actually there for that game. So, good game for the Giants. I'm excited to see how they come out next week, hopefully with some better players. But this was a good game all around. Like, coordinators, head coach, I thought, Joe Judge getting this team to buy in after when it looked like they probably were going to quit. Daniel Jones with no help, a bad offense. Like, this was a really good, Giants, these guys who suit up and coached this game should feel proud about how they showed up and played in this game. So, like, subscribe, check out all the other stuff, O-Line Report, mailbag pod out tomorrow. Mailbags have been freaking fire. So, check it all out. Appreciate you guys. Let's go Big Blue.